Hello everyone, this is Anomaly from the $5 Journey YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in for another video. Hopefully this video will be helpful, insightful, will help you along your financial journey, $5 at a time. Make sure you check me out on all the different social media platforms and email and that sort of thing. You know, I'm always open for some good conversation, so make sure you leave some comments in the caption below. All right, today I really just want to talk about staying focused. I really just want to talk about that. I put 3 things on here to make sure you stay focused on, but of course the concept of staying focused can expand to so many other things. So just, you know, there are so many different things that can really distract us, right? We may have goals set, we may have different things that we want to do for ourselves. Maybe there's vacations you want to go on, or maybe there's I don't know, certain things you want to do at your job or in your personal life, or you know, romantic, you know, involvement, or you know, at school, or whatever the situation is. Maybe it's your $5 journey, your $5 per day journey kind of thing. You know, maybe there's some sort of financial progress that you want to see. Any of those things are open for distractions to come in and kind of pull you away from that. So today I just want to really just focus on, you know, I say focus. Okay, so I really want to zero in, kind of hone in on staying focused. All right, staying focused, not allowing the distractions of life, of just all the different things that can kind of come in and crowd out some of the things that you really want to do, you know, that would help not only you, but maybe family, friends, you know, other loved ones, co-workers, maybe people who are disadvantaged, that kind of thing. So, you know, I want to talk about that. So first thing, staying focused. All right. One of the things that you should make sure you do, stay focused on solutions. Okay. As opposed to problems, right? So a lot of times what we do is we focus on problems, like things happen, bad things happen, you know, someone ends up in the hospital, God forbid, or someone, you have a bad day at work, or, you know, you have a bad day at school, or there's some sort of gossip going on, or some sort of drama going on, all right? You go and you go to pay a bill or something like that, and the bill collector calls and says, well, we deposited the check, or we went to make the electronic withdrawal, and it said you have insufficient funds. And so we, you know, so naturally, like our heart, our mind, you know, goes and pays attention to the problem. All right. What I'm saying is, you know, try to think outside of the box about this, you know, and instead of focusing on the problem, all right, focus on the solution. Okay, now check this out. Here's an example. Hopefully this is not too extreme of an example where, you know, you kind of lose some of the meaning, but let's just say, let's look at a firefighter, right? You know, they you know, they're at the firehouse, and the call comes in, right, that there's a fire, a building's on fire or something like that, right? So they get suited up, they, you know, slide down that cool fire pole, they hop into the fire truck, right, and they're getting to their destination, right? And then they see, all right, building's on fire. Okay, now what they do is they don't focus on the fact that the building's on fire. They focus on the solutions. Okay, the building's on fire, there are people trapped in. All right, so the solution is, for me, what are the solutions? If one solution may be for us to go up there and grab the person out, for, you know, maybe the person can come down some sort of stairwell where there's less smoke, less fire, that kind of thing. So they focus on that. That's why they're able to save so many lives. You know, if it's a situation where they think something's gonna blow up or whatever, you know, they focus on getting, you know, kind of stopping the fire before it gets to that point. You know, they focus on the solutions. Okay, where's the hose? What can we hook it up to? Yeah, this is in our way from hooking it up to the fire extinguisher, but you know, let's do something else, right? And so they focus on the solutions. That's what we have to do also. Make sure you stay focused on the solutions. It's so easy to be taken off track, focus on the problems, this person is upset, or, this politician is saying this, or, this economy is doing that, or this, and we lose track of where we want to go to. Remember, the $5 journey, it's really about a mindset change, right? And one of those mindset changes is take the focus off of the problems and put the focus on the solutions. All right? Is there a solution? What is the solution to this problem? There have been people who are multi-billionaires now because they found a solution to a problem. Now, the reason they got into that situation is they recognized, okay, yeah, there's a problem here, but they didn't focus on it. They focus on, how do I make something to fix the problem? How do I make a solution, right? And I don't know if anyone's ever watched Shark Tank, but if you have, you see like all these entrepreneurs. I mean, even the Shark Tank investors, they've made their money by focusing on solutions. They've come up with solutions, and that's how they're able to make their hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, right? And the same thing is with the entrepreneurs that go on there and they kind of like pitch their idea, their business, their company, their product, right? And a lot of times what you see solutions being presented, right? So that's really what I kind of urge you guys to do. Focus on the solutions. Next, focus on your goals. Focus on your goals, like whatever your goals are. Whether it's like in your personal life, whether it's with romantic life, whether it's with business life, whether it's with your job life, whether it's with your children. You have certain goals that you set, right? Focus on those goals. Focus on what it's going to take to get to those goals. What the actual goal is that you're trying to do. I mean, are you trying to do X or are you trying to do Y? Focus on those goals. All right. And as long as you can stay, kind of fixed or concentrated on that, focus on that, your goals will come to pass. Like it'll definitely happen, but one way it will not happen is if you don't focus on them, right? Or if you focus on all the problems, whether it be real or pretend, right? Because a lot of times what we do is, we haven't even tried for certain things. We just say, oh, it's too hard, or, oh, there's too many obstacles in the way, or, oh, I could never do this, or, oh, look at my background, or, oh, look at where I'm from, or, and we have all these excuses, and we don't, and not to say that any of those excuses are not valid, but remember, if you focus on the goal, don't focus on, things that are pretend, that have not yet happened, and say, oh, well, I'm not even going to try to reach for the goal, because this may happen, or this, happen, across the world to one person. So it's definitely going to happen to me. Focus on the goal. Okay. Lastly, focus on the strategies. Now, what are the strategies? The strategies are the different pathways to get to the goal, right? Focus on those strategies. So, a lot of times what we do is, like I said, we'll focus on why not to pursue certain goals, or why not to even think about doing something, because of all these different problems that may or may not happen, right? And one of the things that we use to get to our goals, we use strategies, right? We use our strategies. Of course, we use our mind and different things, and sometimes people help coming along. But that's all part of, the strategies that we can employ, that we can put in place to make sure our goals happen. So focus on these strategies. Focus on them like as hard as you can. And so some of you may be saying, well, in the book, The $5 Journey, John or Anomaly, whatever you want to call me, right? You say that there are all these different strategies. So how can you say to focus when there's multiple strategies? Well, easy, because all the strategies go to one goal. So if you're focused on the goal, you pick which strategies are going to be the best ones to get you to that goal, and boom, you go for it, right? All right, so you want to just make sure that you focus on solutions, all right? Don't focus on the problems, focus on the solutions. Focus on goals, right? And then lastly, focus on the strategies. Focus on how you're going to achieve those goals. possible ideas. Some of them may work, some of them may not work. Okay, but just because something does not work doesn't mean that nothing will work. Okay, you focus on those things and push and push and push. When I purchased my first house, I was 19 years old actually. When I purchased my first piece of real estate, it was a 3-unit, and I was I was just a broke college kid, so I didn't really have any money or anything like that, and it's a lot of my friends, they were like, oh, how are you gonna do this, and you're never gonna be able to do that, and there's a lot of naysayers. That's another thing. Avoid naysayers. Avoid people who are going to pull on your emotional energy. And pull on your pull you away from your goals. Now, sometimes people will give you criticism or critique or advice or whatever that is actually good. And sometimes people will give you stuff that they're just basically naysayers. Now, how do you determine the two? I'm going a little bit off on a tangent, but it's very relevant. So how do you determine the two? How do you determine which one you should listen to, which one you shouldn't? Okay, if somebody is saying, don't do this because of X, Y, Z, but then they don't offer you a solution as to how you can go about, doing something better, right? Or more efficiently, right? They don't offer solutions. They only point out the problems, right? I don't have problems written here, but just use your imagination. If they try to pull you away from something and they critique it, they give you criticism, and they don't offer any additional solutions that will help you, then the chances are that person is not. They're kind of like a naysayer. They're just someone there who, maybe they like to play devil's advocate, and they're not really offering anything helpful to the discussion or to what you want to achieve or to the strategies, right? So avoid that. Avoid those people who pull on you emotionally. Now, of course, you're gonna have if you're married, you have your spouse, you have your children. Those people may, there are certain things that they go through that may or may not, pull on your emotions. But as far as your goals and your strategies, the solutions which you would, that you want to bring to the world, make sure that anybody, doesn't matter who it is, make sure that they are not a person who pulls away from your goals, from your strategies, from solutions. Okay. Now, what do you do if it is someone that you're close to? If it is your spouse, if it is your child, right? And I don't necessarily have a clear-cut solution for you, right? I mentioned the problem. I don't necessarily have a clear-cut solution for you, but I will take some of my own medicine, right? And I will offer the solution which I've been able to use. Those people that are going to pull at you, and they only offer destructive criticism, right? They don't add anything on to your strategy or to your goals, or any sort of efficiencies or make things better, right? What you do is you just don't let them into that circle necessarily. Okay, so you have your you have things that you need to handle with them. You have things that you need to take care of with them. That's really good, right? But if they are going to be naysayers, right? They're using irrational, or they're using just kind of negative energy to dissuade you from something that is a positive, a progressive goal, right? Those people need to be kept away. Now, not necessarily away from your person, but away from those ideas, away from the goals. Because you're gonna have people. I mean, even if you look at, all right, let's look at Jesus, right? Even, okay. If you look at Jesus, I mean, he had all kinds of people around him, right? But the people that he kept closest were disciples, right? He kept them the closest, and they, the disciples would kind of, they would get food, and they would, walk together, they would talk together, they would talk about different things, right? And there were a lot of people that were out to really get him. If you read the Bible or anything like that, there were a lot of people who were really out to get him. He didn't necessarily keep those people, in his inner circle, right? He didn't. And probably the same thing could be said for Martin Luther King. Probably the same thing could be said for any leaders. They had an idea, a progressive idea, right? And yeah, sure, certainly they would interact with, everybody. But as far as their inner circles, like as far as that idea, that goal, whatever, certain people were pushed, were kind of kept far from that, all right? So it's the same exact thing, all right? Same exact thing. Keep those kinds of people away from the goal, away from the concept, all right? I'm not saying to kick those people out of your life. I'm not saying that, okay? All right, but I am saying as far as your goal, as far as your strategy, as far as solutions, make sure that you, make sure you share it, of course. But you wanna kind of protect it and keep it safe, all right? You wanna stay focused on that, all right? Keep your focus on that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Hopefully this was helpful, and I have another video coming out a little bit later on, and we're gonna talk about some of the things that you can do to really build up your finances, to take really what you need to do to go from zero to investing. All right, of course, a lot of these things are outlined in the book, but I'm actually gonna give you guys some surprise material that is not in the book. All right, so stay tuned. Again, like it, thumbs up it, leave comments in the caption below, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, it is not a sprint, but it is a $5 per day journey, okay? See you next time. Thanks.